Beautiful people, hello and good morning. I'm going to have a chat with you this morning about real estate, our perception of real estate. I'm going to bring in Simon Polito, an expert. Here he is, Simon Polito, concierge, active now. So this morning we're going to talk about the perception of Sydney real estate and Australian real estate from an expert in American real estate. So Simon Polito is a bit of a weapon over there in Orange County in California, and he's going to actually have a bit of a chat with us about what Americans think about our real estate market, their perception and stuff like that. So let's bring him over. There he is. Go. So it's a bit of banter, I think, and you're going to find that we're probably both. Hello, Captain.
Hey, how you doing,
hello.
mate? Good to see you.
Wow, look at those sunnies. Wow, you guys in California are cool.
Just got to keep in line.
Now,
But just
tell
got the
me,
AirPods in so I can hear properly. How are you?
Good buddy. So, Mr. Simon Polito, we're going to talk about what Americans think about Sydney real estate, Australian real estate. You're pretty well qualified to have this conversation. What do you do over there?
So I'm an auctioneer. I run my own company. It's called Real Estate Concierge Auctions. A real estate agent just like yourself, mate. And I was doing it for 14 years over here in Sydney, in Potts Point, and in the Northern Beaches where I started out. But over there, I'm just in California. I'm a licensed and bonded, insured and bonded auctioneer over there. I can work all the way through California, and we're just trying to just offer the people another option. I mean, mate, when I moved over there, it was insane. There's only one way to sell your house, traditionally.
Wow.
And just put a price on,
wow.
Put a price on it, and hope, and cross your fingers and hope someone sends you an offer. It's insane.
It was almost a little backwards. Now, tell us, mate, what do people reckon about the Aussie real estate market in California and America, and what do they think about Sydney more so? What's the perception of real estate over there from Americans?
First of all, it's hard for them to fathom the fact that we do have growth. They get excited over there extremely quickly over if they get 1 or 2% growth, and capital growth wise, what I'm talking about.
1 or 2%.
And it's insane. I mean, I think Sydney had over 20% growth just last year.
It's pulled back a little bit, but yeah, you know what it's like, mate. It's double. It's generally been double every 10 years, and it doesn't happen there.
No, so I try to tell them, look, auction is another way. I say it's the way, but I've got to show them in a way that they've got a choice, obviously. So I try to explain to them that you've got another way, and this is a guaranteed sale unless you don't take the price on auction day. There's a few different rules over there that restrict you, which is a bit frustrating because I think the way that Australian auctions are held is really well done. Although you guys got more rules than when I was here last.
So basically, the Australian system seems like it's pretty advanced. Yeah, right.
Well ahead. But they still have it. I mean, they still got signboards that have on a timber post that just say for sale. Generic signboard. There's nothing. There's no 6x4s or 4x3s or 12 by 6s. That would be insane over there. I've been on a rampage over here taking photos of all of them so I can try and see if I can get them up over there.
And tell me, our portal system. So the way we do real estate and domain, is that similar? Are we sort of pretty advanced that way with our portals, or is it the same over there?
I actually think the US is actually ahead of us in that one. You don't pay for that over in the US. That's a huge advantage to you. There's a huge advantage to your sellers.
Well, realestate.com's $2,500 in Australia.
Mate, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know many agents that spend more than $500 on a campaign.
Wow.
That's it.
So what else do Californians think about?
The agents pay for that.
So what else do Californians think about when they look at Sydney property? Like what are the things they're surprised about that you tell them, and what's their perception?
They can't fathom the amount of interest we get. When you have an open house, you put the board out the front, and you get people just coming in to have a look. I think Australians are fascinated by property purely because of the fact that everyone's made money out of it. It's been a great resource for the Australian economy. But in America, it's not as much of a topic. You can go on the news websites in America, and there is no property section. It falls under business. So it was in Australia, it's all property. I mean, you look, I just went coming back home now, putting on the television, domain commercial, realestate.com.au commercial, and you look online and you look on the papers, it's all property. Walking up and down the streets, everyone's talking property. It's not as big a talking item as it is here, and that's something we're trying to change over there. We're just trying to re-educate that. Look, you can make money out of this.
Well, why is that though? Like, is that really California, or is that like in New York City? Would you be making more money on your property, or is that just an American thing that property there's not that much capital growth?
It's hard for me to say that because I haven't worked in New York myself. I want to say you're right to a point. People will always pay a premium for location and convenience. You know that?
Yep.
I remember the last crash when I was working here in Sydney. I was in Potts Point. You wanted to be in Macleay Street in Potts Point. You didn't care if the market was crashing. You wanted to be in Macleay Street, right? You paid for it.
Yep.
In the States, same thing. You want to be on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills. You pay for it.
Pay.
You want to be in Bel Air within the gates. You pay for it. There's only a limited amount of space. Same as Manhattan. Manhattan's an island. There's no room to grow. They'll pay always a premium to be on the premium streets.
So why are we getting such capital growth? And I know and this is not asking an American real estate agent as much, but like I think that it's pretty interesting when you look at our property market and its growth, and then you look around the world and the growth that people don't have. It must blow people's mind over there, like far out, and why?
They don't believe me at first. They think I'm lying to them. They say, what are you talking about? What do you mean 30% growth? What do you mean 20%? What do you mean people are bidding for it? And it's like, you're gonna wait. I'm glad you're sitting down. I can see you're in your car. There's a condition. It's called in America they're called contingencies when you're doing a sale. In Australia we call them conditions because they don't do 66Ws very often. I'm trying to bring in that form. It's not a 66W in America. It's called just a removal of all contingencies form. But there's a contingency over there to sell your own house. So I'm not going to buy your house if I can't sell mine.
Wow. And that'll go into a contract.
And that's in a contract, and they'll accept it. And the problem is, it's a domino effect. They'll do it eight times.
No way. And then your chances 1/8. Your chances 1/8.
And they hate, and that's why they hate real estate. They hate it. They don't enjoy it. It's not an enjoyable experience for a lot. It's stressful.
Yeah.
It's painful. And there's so. And California is the second most litigious state in the country, and in California, the offer document's that thick.
Yep.
Right. You just
the offer.
I mean, thank God it's on DocuSign because you just keep pressing next. But there's so many clauses, conditions, out clauses. I mean, when we're doing auctions over there, and we're telling them you're buying a non-contingent purchase here. Be prepared. Get your finance ready. Don't get pre-approved. Get pre-underwritten by your lender, and get ready to buy. Know what you can spend. You don't go shopping for a suit without your wallet. You don't go buying a car without your finance. Go do it.
So it sort of poo-poos that market, whereas I know Australians invented Strata, and Strata has sort of gone worldwide now. Some of our systems are excellent. The auction system is excellent. The way we transact property is probably a bit bullish, but it must also... It must be really painful to even the concept of doing a deal in California, whereas in Australia, you just know in Sydney, you put on the market, you're going to have a result within 4 to 8 weeks if you're reasonable.
And that's what the California market did have up until about a year ago. I want to say July, August 2018, the market did start to come down drastically in the United States, particularly in California. We saw a big halt in the market. The market just stopped. People were hesitant. The media, yourself, media controls the perception of what people's minds, think of the marketplace. So the market was saying it's 10-year anniversary of the crash, 10-year anniversary of the crash. It's coming. That's what makes it come.
Yep.
Right? Because people get scared, knee-jerk reaction, sell. Well, then what happens? Prices go down immediately. The market gets flooded with inventory. So what we do, I've been bringing in what we do in Australia over to the States. We do all of the due diligence before we go on the MLS. The MLS is the multiple listing service, and they're like the Bible. They dictate the rules of what happens on the marketplace. So we do a home inspection on the home. The seller doesn't have to do any of the work. That's another thing. In California, the seller historically has had to do the repairs or give the buyer a credit to fix anything wrong with the house. That's why you're selling it.
What a painful system, mate. Oh my God.
So, and then termite report, obviously they build everything in wood in California because you're on the plate, the seismic plate level for the earthquake, so you can't build with bricks and mortar. You've got to build with timber. Well, that attracts termites. Almost every home has termites, right? So you've got to tent it. So we do all these reports before, but we don't do the work. We're selling it as is, so long as we're showing the buyer what is right and what's wrong. We don't have strata. We have HOA, which is homeowner association. It's same thing.
It's similar thing, yeah. So tell me, just on concluding with everything. So with what we do in Sydney real estate and the perception of America's of Sydney real estate and Australian real estate, you know, is it something that we take for granted and we've got a bloody good property market and really good systems and stuff? Is it, you know, is it shit? Is it admired? Is it, you know, what's the whole, just to roll it up and what like, are you proud of our system and our market, or where are we?
I tell you what, mate, if you ever want to feel good about yourself, come over to the States and work with us, because we'll be the youngest guys in the marketplace. The average age of an agent in California is a 56-year-old female. We're young. You know,
yeah, wow.
Me, I don't know exactly the age you got into. I got into real estate at the age of almost 18 years old, working in Narrowena. And that's why at 18, that was what you did. You went to TAFE. You started your class and you got your license or your certificate of registration, and off you went. In the States, it's seen as a hobby. It's a hobby that predominantly women in their 50s do just for a bit of play money. So it's not considered a serious industry, and that's why people don't take us seriously over there, because there's this lack of ethics. They don't care. There's no open houses on a Saturday. If there is, they go for 5 hours, and there's tea, coffee, and the agent sitting on the couch saying, "If you don't mind signing in, please do so." So I'm proud to bring over to the States what we've done here. I think our ethics in Australia, despite what the media says about underquoting, overquoting, and all that other jazz, mate, we're superior. Absolutely smashing it over here.
Wow.
So that's what I'm trying to bring over. If I could bring over some Australian ethics, we would change the game, mate. So come over.
You're confusing a little bit in your language. Where are you at the moment?
I'm in Roselle.
Oh, I thought you were in California.
No, I'm here, mate.
You're visiting Sydney. Well, why haven't you come to our office?
Surprise! I'm going to surprise you.
Mate, you got to come in. Okay, but just to cap off.
Right now it's 4:30 in the afternoon on Thursday right now in California, but I'm here in Roselle Friday morning.
Ah, got it. I was confusing because you're talking that, but hopefully we've helped the audience out there a little bit about American property, a little bit about Sydney property, and to be proud of the way we do things in Australia and how good our property market is, even though we've been whinging the last year or two. We've got a good old system, huh?
You do. You just got to stop people. You just got to stop people from jumping over the gun. Keep to your guns. Do what you say you're going to do. That's why you're successful, mate. I drove through DY the other day, and what did I see? I saw your face everywhere. I didn't get to see you, but I saw your face everywhere because you're doing the right thing.
Michael Burjo, not me.
Hey, I might have
you're a legend, mate. I'm at Bondi Beach in Australia.
Oh, so you're doing
any American crowds? If any American crowds watching, and so you take care. Hopefully we'll help people out.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Let's do it again.
Okay, buddy.
I love
Cheers,
it.
man.
Thanks,
Take
mate.
care. See you. Bye.